Peter, the big question here is, will ebook prices drop if we do see this settlement from the DOJ?
I think there's a good chance of that. I mean, a couple of years ago when Apple introduced the iPad, the sort of standard price for an ebook went up from about $10 or $9.99 on Amazon to about $13 today. Most of the books that I was looking at yesterday online are going for $12.99, both on Amazon and on iBookstore and on Barnes & Noble and other bookstores. So there's a chance that if this settlement comes through, what went from 10 to 13 might come back down to 10 in some cases.
Peter, what's the holdup in the negotiations right now? Because I believe your story said that there could be a suit or something filed next week. What's the last sticking point getting people to the table? Is it because not everyone's on the same page? Some people are okay with the settlement, some people are not. What's happening?
I think that's right. And Tom Catan and our bureau, Jeff Trachtenberg up in New York, have been doing a great job following this story. And what they've learned is that 3 publishers are ready to make a deal with the Justice Department, which is pursuing this antitrust case, a price-fixing case. And then 2 others are not so ready to make a deal. And also Apple is a holdup here. So there may be a situation where some settle and others are brought to court by the Justice Department.
Peter, these publishers have been trying to argue that there is competition in this industry. Of course, the government is saying, how is this possible that there's competition if the prices have increased? Take us into this argument. How do they actually make the case here to the government in this?
That's right. It's a very interesting case. I mean, what you had before the new system of pricing, what you had before was Amazon was selling these books for $9.99. Amazon was actually taking a loss on the books. It was paying publishers maybe $13 and then selling it for $10. And you might say publishers were gaining from that, but they were very worried about setting an example in consumers' minds that here's what an ebook costs. It only costs $10. They were worried about setting a precedent, so they organized this new pricing system where publishers set the price. And I think publishers see themselves as a potentially threatened industry. They think this is protecting an aspect of American culture, if you will. So they felt that they were well justified in introducing this new pricing model. But what the Justice Department saw was potentially, we don't have all the evidence yet, but what they saw potentially was companies getting together in a room and talking about raising prices, which is just the crux of antitrust law. So we'll see how that battle works out.
And our viewers probably got it, but I'm a little dense. But I'm not exactly sure. Have they been fixing prices? Didn't they agree with the distributors such as iBooks at Apple and other services? Wasn't it basically they got to set the price? And what's the issue with that? I mean, I'm not quite making a logical leap there. I think that you're talking about.
It is a complicated issue. The issue here is, again, going back to antitrust law, if you have competitors, in this case publishers, getting together in a room, we don't have the evidence of that yet, but we have some signs of it. If you have publishers getting together in a room and talking about raising prices together, or talking even about introducing a new pricing model together, these are competitors in the publishing business, that's when you have an antitrust issue, and that's what the Justice Department is pursuing.
Now, Peter, these are huge companies fighting this out. Behemoths, Apple and Amazon, all fighting over this business. Is this fight just going to get a lot uglier in the coming months?
I think it will, and I think Apple faces potentially a choice. If the old pricing system is reintroduced and you see Amazon able to discount books, maybe even sell them at a loss in an attempt to gain market share, perhaps selling them at, again, $10 for an ebook, then Apple has to consider how it strategizes here. It can't deal with all the publishers together. It has to negotiate with them individually, probably, under the proposed settlement. And does Apple want to sell books at a loss? Does it want to somehow negotiate a system where everybody can gain? Does it want to sell books at a higher price than Amazon? Probably not. There are a number of tough choices for these behemoths to make going forward.